altogether I ended up spending, drumroll,
Alexis Sunshine 83, it's always sunny here.
Hey Sunshiners, Alexa Sunshine 83 here. Today's video is extra special because today is my birthday. Not when I'm actually filming this video in July, but the day this video is going up is my birthday, August 3rd. I get at least one comment a week asking if I was born in 1983 because of the 83 in my username, but actually the 83 is for August 3rd, 080383. Alexa Sunshine was taken, so I had to be creative with adding something to it. For my birthday thrift with me, I figured I must go to the Rose Bowl flea market. It is 7 a.m. bright and early, and for this thrift with me second-hand fashion shopping video, I am not giving myself a budget. I have an unlimited budget. Usually when I go thrifting, I have a max budget depending on where I'm going thrifting. The Rose Bowl flea market obviously is more expensive. It's basically Depop, but in real life. And so usually when I go to the Rose Bowl, I have a max of I'm not gonna spend more than this. Whereas today, I'm throwing that out the window. Obviously, I'm gonna be realistic. I'm not gonna spend $500 or anything. But at the Rose Bowl flea market, especially, I am very picky on what I actually end up buying just because of the prices and not wanting to buy too much. But it's my birthday, I can do what I want, but also not go too crazy and wild. I am looking for cute tops, summery pieces. If you've watched any of my fashion I'm into right now video, basically everything I've said in that. Let's head into the Rose Bowl flea market. I tried to come early to beat the heat. Hopefully, I'm hoping I can be all the way through the Rose Bowl by 10 a.m. before it gets blazing hot. It is 7:30 because yes, it did take me 30 minutes to film this intro. Okay, let's go.
The first piece I found that I was tempted by was this leather fringe jacket. It seemed a little heavy because I'm sure the quality, but I decided not to try it on because it was $165. And I know this is supposed to be a no budget shopping, but I didn't love it enough for that price because I already have a fringe jacket that I wear loads and love more, so I kept on going. This stand had a lot of vintage dresses that were super adorable, but none that felt like they would go with my style. My main focus was finding the vintage Y2K 90s sellers, which were across the bridge. If you've ever seen any of my other Rose Bowl videos, then you know what I mean, but that's where most of the vintage clothing is, and this stand was totally up my alley. Really decent prices as well. It truly felt like all of my Pinterest pins were in real life. Very funky prints and silhouettes. This velvet skirt was so gorgeous, but sadly it wasn't in my size. I definitely want to find a similar one and maybe a burgundy or brown or purple in my size. I just really want to own more velvet skirts. I really like the pattern on this dress and the neckline, but the pit to pit seemed a little too wide for my chest size, although I do wish I had tried it on top of what I was wearing just to verify because it was so cute. I gasped at these jeans. Super cool corduroy cutouts and a little flare, but the inseam was too short. I did bring my measuring tape, so I was able to verify that as well, and it truly crushed my dreams. Next, I am at another Y2K clothing stand, which was already starting out on a positive with this floral tank top and this floral dress, which was fully velvet, and I was really thinking about it, but maybe it was the heat. I just couldn't envision it. The idea was so cute and so me, but I just didn't know how wearable it was actually going to be for me for some reason. I don't know. I set out to buy whatever I wanted, yet kept talking myself out of things. So there will be many cute pieces shown that I didn't end up getting, so I apologize. I left that stand empty-handed and went to this one that again had the vibe I was looking for. Very colorful, very Y2K. I did end up pushing through the heat to try on this sunflower cardigan, but it was a little more snug than I would want, and I was gonna try this floral sparkly top, but I just knew I wouldn't wear it as much as I would think. So again, I left empty-handed. Shout out to this Trip NYC top. It was too small, but very Victorian vampire. I did end up finally buying something from a different seller that I didn't film, so you will have to wait for the haul part to see it, but it is very, very cute. I made my way next to it at this very fun stand that I couldn't find the name of, but the sellers were super nice and they had a really great selection of pieces. I did find Pointel, which I've talked about wanting to add more into my wardrobe. This was a pastel blue, which I didn't feel like I'd wear that much, so it was a no, but I tried on this brown top that had super interesting construction of the chiffon sleeves, but I wasn't obsessed. I really liked the fit of this top, but the blue was just way too blue for me. I don't know, I just felt like it wouldn't go with my wardrobe for some reason, so I ended up leaving and was pulled into this seller's stand because of the gorgeous bags they had. They did have this Coach bag I've actually really been wanting, and this was the first time I've seen it in person. I don't remember the price, I can't make out what the tag says, but regardless, I would want it in a maroon or black, but I was really happy I was able to actually see it in person, and it made me love the bag style even more. I did like the idea of this velvet dress, but it did end up fitting kind of weird. So I kept on going and stopped by the palettes, which I always stop at the palettes in every single Rose Bowl flea market video I do. It was feeling very overwhelming and there wasn't a category I was necessarily looking for, so I actually just kept walking. We are done with the Rose Bowl. I am gonna be so honest, I almost just scrapped this video because within the first 2 hours I had only found one thing that I was really obsessed with, and I was like, oh my gosh, I did jinx myself. I was finding really cute stuff, but it wasn't about the price. It was like, do I love this enough to buy? A lot of the pieces were only like $20, but I was being quite picky, and then I found something and it kind of just like snowballed from there. I'm so excited about these pieces and kind of a little gift to myself for my birthday. So I will see you in the next clip when I get home. I've showered and I'm in AC, and it's a different day, but yeah, okay, see you then. Alrighty, now time for the haul portion. I found so many cute pieces at the Rose Bowl flea market, as you saw, but it was so difficult for me to purchase things. I was feeling so indecisive, and I know I wasn't supposed to have any restraint, but I couldn't help it. I still wanted to think through the purchases, and altogether I ended up spending, drumroll, $150, not including the $20 entrance fee for early admission for the Rose Bowl flea market, which is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but for the Rose Bowl flea market, going in, allowing myself to buy whatever I want, I feel like that's a really great price, especially because of only one piece being that main chunk. All the other pieces were a really great price, so very happy about that. I did end up getting a 4-day migraine when I got back home, so I will not be going back to the Rose Bowl flea market until it's not blistering hot outside. Does anyone else that suffers from migraines get them so much worse and so much more often during the summertime? I hate it here. Anyway, now onto the pieces I picked up, which, as you can see, very colorful, which the first piece here was the first thing I ended up buying, and I was totally convinced this was the only thing I was gonna pick up at the Rose Bowl flea market that day. It is this Harley Davidson Rose and Flame lawn sleeve. So unique. One of the coolest Harley Davidson tops I've ever seen. I can't even remember the last time I bought secondhand something Harley Davidson, which if you have been watching me since 2018, 2019, you know I used to only wear secondhand Harley Davidson t-shirts, and I still own a couple, but I definitely went a little bit overboard. I ended up saying goodbye to a lot of them because they looked really similar, and I ended up just wearing only Harley Davidson t-shirts that looked really similar, so it looked like I was just wearing the same thing all of the time. So I did put myself on a Harley Davidson t-shirt ban. I'd rather put my money towards more unique and statement tops, which I think this is an exception to that rule. I feel like it kind of blends what my style is now with the Harley Davidson style that I used to really love, just in a more like my style right now. I did buy another lawn sleeve, which buying 2 lawn sleeves in the middle of summer, maybe not that smart, but come fall and winter, I'm gonna be very happy because I actually don't own that many lawn sleeves. Usually I wear a short sleeve top with a jacket, which I have a very extensive jacket collection, but I don't always want to wear a jacket. And I rarely come across lawn sleeve tops at the thrift store that I like. And so when I do find a lawn sleeve that I like, I buy. This one in particular, I really cannot wear until it is cold outside, because even though the material is very, very soft on the outside, on the inside, and I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like a spandexy, like not rough material, but definitely it's polyester. So, you know, it is vintage. It has a paper tag. It's originally from Celine by Champion, and I can't make out the full material composition, but it's 90% polyester, I think, and 10% spansible. So I don't know if that's spandex. It would make sense because of the feeling inside. I was just really caught off guard when I tried it on when I got home, and the inside was a different material and like a hotter material than the soft kind of like fuzzy material of the outside. I didn't try it on because it was way too hot, and I kind of wish I would have inspected it a little bit more. I would have still bought it. I was just taken aback by the feeling inside. Like, I have to wait until December to be able to wear this because it feels like a heater inside, which has its pro of when it's cold, but again, in the middle of summer, not that great. It was $30, which I feel is a pretty reasonable price for this style top. I did give myself another Harley Davidson exception because it was my birthday. Okay, let me live. It is a Harley Davidson cut up tank top, and I don't own any Harley Davidson t-shirts like this that are cut up like this. I will not cut up any of my Harley Davidson t-shirts because I will not be able to recreate this like muscle tee, even though it's not obviously like perfect by any means, and like the whole idea is for it not to be perfect, but I will cut it up so terribly that I will have ruined the t-shirt. And so it's better for me to buy one that somebody has already cut up. This just felt like such a dream in the summer weather. I see it with a black lacy bralette, some shorts, my docs, like that is still a very me outfit, and it has some holes, it's roughed up. It is like such a Rose Bowl flea market top to buy a like hold distress Harley Davidson t-shirt. It was $20 though, which I actually feel is pretty good for something like this. Back in 2019 at the Melrose Trading Post, they would be selling this for like $80, and they'd be like, oh, the holes add personality, you're welcome. On the back it says Wisconsin, which any Wisconsians, shout out to you. Everything I've shown so far has been from different sellers, whereas these 2 pieces are from the same seller, and I always go to this seller stand. They actually were at ThriftCon as well, and they were just like the nicest people and always have amazing inventory. I got this brown lacy bralette tank top. It is originally from Old Navy. I don't know when it was originally made. I don't know if it's vintage or not, but honestly, I don't care. I have been wanting to find more bralettes. I feel like in the 2010s, bralettes were everywhere, lacy bralettes, and like I never see them now. I have been seeing a slight resurgence on Free People, but obviously I would rather buy it secondhand. And I want to say, I can't remember, this was probably like $15 or $10. The other piece was $20, so I'm pretty sure I paid $30 altogether, but I've already worn this a ton. I wore it in my last video with my poncho, and I've just been really wanting to find more layering pieces, and something like this, like a lacy layering tank top with a lot of my other tops, I think is just so beautiful and wonderful, and I'm so happy that I got this. There is an extra layer on the like boob area, so it isn't as see-through, which is definitely a plus. Next from the same stand is this white lacy see-through dress. Please forgive me for the wrinkles on the bottom. After I washed it, it just got really wrinkly on the bottom. It just needs like a seam or an iron, and I think it'll be fine. But it does have pleats, so once the wrinkles are gone, I think it'll look a lot better and show the pleats of the bottom a lot more. It just seemed very precious. I love wearing white, which is funny because I am always sweaty. But this one, because of it being see-through and lace, I don't think you will be able to see armpit sweat. It almost feels like the holes of the lace will help eject the sweat, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. I will say that I ended up going to a different stand after that stand, after I bought this, and found another white dress that I did like better than this one, but I couldn't just, you know, go back and return it because I found this other one. And so they're different though. They're very different, and I think will give a different look, but that meant that I did buy 2 white dresses, which I'm not complaining about, but I definitely was going back and forth in my mind of like, I just bought a white dress, like, is this different enough for me to justify buying another white dress? But it was my birthday, so I said, you know what, yes, I do deserve a second white dress, and it was only $5. I think that was the other thing where like the other one was $20, which obviously has so much more unique features of it. But then I found this one for $5 and I was like, wait, this is kind of more what I was thinking. I'm still contemplating potentially saying goodbye to that last one. I'll give myself like the next 6 months and see how much I style it compared to this other white dress, which is originally from Gilligan O'Malley. It's 100% cotton. Pretty sure it's a nightgown. I'm pretty sure. So it's gonna take some finesse as well into styling down. It's a little bit more boxy, very flowy, maybe not the most flattering silhouette, but I don't care about my clothing silhouettes to be flattering. It is so comfortable, and I think it's flattering because it's cute. I did think maybe I would cut it and make it a little bit shorter, but actually I love the length of it. I love everything about it, and I will not be changing anything. Thank you so much for watching. All I want as a birthday gift is for you to have a wonderful day today, and also subscribe and give this video a thumbs up and follow me on Instagram, which is alexsunshine83. Yes, you have to do all of those because I said so, and I'm the birthday girl. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.